That's not good for light. Hi, gang. Oh, no, I was all ready to go, and then it went live, and I noticed that the lighting was dreadful. I need to position it, though, so that you're not in the shot, probably. Sorry, babe. I was really ready to go, and then I didn't realise how horribly backlit that shelf made me. But there we go. Right. Hi, guys. Oh, you can have a cash shot of the dining room. I mean, I say dining room, portion of the living room that we eat in. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? I hope you're all right. Just been looking at the chat a little bit. Yeah, I wondered what to do today. Read the events, London and the Black Lives Matter movement. I wasn't sure whether to not do it tonight and follow Blackout Tuesday. I guess we're going ahead because, as I understand it, Blackout Tuesday was about not self-promoting and leaving a space for Black voices and amplifying. And I feel like I've tried to do that today. I hope I've done that okay. Yeah, like you say, a space for everyone to be is here. So we're going ahead. So yeah, I hope you're all right and you're being powerful. I guess that's the main advice I have on stuff like this. Having done a lot of advocacy for mental health, which is very different. You have to know when you're just immersing yourself in it to satiate a need to feel like you're trying, and when you're actually doing things that have a positive effect. That's the best advice I have on the amount of stuff you can consume. Is you have to know when consuming it is no longer you learning and no longer you having the energy to do something with what you're learning, and when you're just consuming because you feel like to switch it off is rude. So there you go. So that's the only advice I have. And then the chapter. I hope that the chapter is okay. It might be a little rushed. I've had a lot of meetings today, so I've been a touch busy. Advice. I know. I always feel like a complete lemon giving advice because I'm such a mess as a human being, but nah, there you go. That's what I've learned anyway. So there you go. Yeah, so today's chapter. I think it's all right, but it might be. The thing is, what I'm learning with this is, so to do a little behind the curtain in the writing experience, I've asked you a few questions now where the results that you asked for haven't manifested yet, and it's not that I'm ignoring your questions, and I'm definitely like keeping the things that you've voted for are going to be in the plot. But then when I come to write the chapter, I realize that this chapter isn't the right place for that bit to happen, or different things. So this chapter, if you were just reading this as a book, I don't think you'd even notice this chapter, but to me, I feel like it's a bit of a, oh, nothing happens chapter. But it was necessary to move the book along. I'm doing loads of over waffling and explaining, and maybe I'm a bit drunk. I'm a bit drunk. So yeah, so this is a bit of an in between the action chapter, but I felt like it was necessary. And I really thought we were gonna properly get somewhere else tonight. And then as I got writing, it wasn't the right time for it to happen. It needed a bit more. So that's enough waffling and nonsense from me. We'll do the chapter, shall we? Chapter 33. All right. Okay. While it was still Friday, Emma found it relatively easy to excuse herself for not having spoken to Jack yet. She got round to the flat and listened for sounds of him moving about upstairs. She played out the scene of hearing him come home, then popping upstairs to chat with him and ask him if they could postpone their dinner due to a last-minute invite from an old colleague to attend a ball. That sounded reasonable. None of it was a lie, and she felt like she could keep her cheeks to a warm, rather than furious red while she said it. I'm just going to move your comments because I like seeing when you all get very angry with me. Kim wants Theo to fall in a bumpster. Do you mean dumpster? That's adorable. I love the word bumpster. Bumpster is my new favourite word. A bumpster. She heard Jack come home and decided to give him an hour at home to settle down before she popped up. Then it felt like dinner time, and so probably inappropriate to go up and bother him while he cooked. Then she painted her nails and packed, in that order, meaning she had to repaint her nails afterwards, by which time it was far too late to go up. "It's 9:15, was one voice's deadpan rebuke, but she ignored it. Times are different in the country. People go to bed earlier. She rolled her eyes at herself, realizing that if she didn't settle down and stop this juggling of soon, she was going to fully develop a separate personality within herself. Times might be slightly different in the country, but 1, Bath is a city. 2, you can hear that Jack is still awake. But every time she realized she could go upstairs and talk to Jack, something popped into her mind to make her distract herself and not go. If you don't want to cancel on him, then don't cancel. Don't go to the ball. She had to laugh internally at the melodrama of the words, don't go to the ball. It felt faintly ridiculous. How had things come to this? She really wanted to go to the ball and be brilliant, but equally, she wanted to be the sort of person that Jack respected, and she wasn't sure that both of them were possible. Why does Jack's opinion matter to me so much? She asked herself, reapplying the nail polish to her little finger for a third time. Because he's nice and kind. He's also a cheat who's got really angry with me over something that wasn't my fault. Yes, but she didn't really have an answer for that and so mulled on it. Why did he seem so reasonable and placid despite the flaws he had? Well, he apologized. Maybe it's because he makes mistakes but then apologizes for them. That shows growth. He's not a two-dimensional character or a knight in shining armor. He's a person. She let that sit for a bit to see if it felt true, and there was a grain of rightness to it. She found a little bit. She let that sit for a bit to see if it felt true, and there was a grain of rightness to it. She found there was. Somewhere in a box of truthful things in her brain, there was a voice trying to tell her something, and she focused in on it, trying to distill it down. Jack is messy, came the sentence, and she felt her stomach tighten at the realization it was true. Jack has a past, a history, and not a history where he is perfect. He's older than you and got angry with you, and he has strong reactions to things. Theo isn't. Theo is uncomplicated and easygoing. He's fun and funny and doesn't care about the big complex things. He just wants to have fun and make you smile. Her imaginings of being with Theo were all so carefree. That was one thing she knew she couldn't manufacture in her daydreams of Jack. Jack was solid and complex and a very real person, whereas Theo, even having had him in her arms, in a bed, in her body, he still felt ethereal. He still felt like a character that she could float along with and not have any messy bits. When Emma awoke Saturday morning, there was no escaping the fact that today was the day Jack would find out she needed to cancel their dinner. The excitement of the ball superseded everything, though, and she showered, double-checked everything was in her bag, and headed off to the shop. Her train was booked for the end of the shift, and all going well, she would sweep into the party at around 9 p.m. looking fabulous and not being awkwardly early for once. She heard Jack move about upstairs and decided to text him on her way to the shop. It was a beautiful sunny day, and she managed to convince herself that it was too pretty to be staring at a phone trying to draft. She would message him when she got to the shop. However, she arrived at the shop only to remember the existence of Fiona and wonder how things were going to be with them both back at the shop. Fiona unlocked the door and let her in. Emma thought maybe she looked a little sheepish, but decided not to press her on her absence from the night out or the shop the day before. I have a dilemma, Emma declared as she reappeared on the sales floor from the staff room. She proceeded to explain to Fiona what had happened with Theo's texts and her hasty decision to attend the London ball. Fiona stood listening, her eyes wide. So what are you going to say to Jack? She asked after Emma had finished. No, Fiona. Oh my God, I forgot accents. I'm from Wales. How do you do a Welsh accent? That's it. So what are you going to say to Jack? She asked after Emma had finished. I don't know. That's my dilemma. What should I say? They threw ideas back and forward all morning, and it made Emma feel better that she still had not mentioned anything to Jack at all. She was still deciding what to say. That was okay, wasn't it? No, it isn't, said a bored voice in her head that was sick of telling her things she patently knew already. Fiona and Emma came to the conclusion that really it needed to be a phone call, not a text message. That was the best way to salvage the best friendship with Jack. But come Emma's lunch break, she found she just wasn't picking up the phone to do it. It wasn't a fear thing. It wasn't an I haven't thought of an excuse thing. It was quite simply that her body was not obeying her instructions to get it over and done with. I'll find 5 minutes to sneak down to the staff room in the afternoon, she straight up lied to herself. Of course, this didn't happen, as the shop was packed all day and Fiona and Emma were busy ringing up baubles and ornaments for customer after customer. Suddenly, it was time to close up, and with an odd, free-falling feeling, Emma realised that the next part of her day was heading off to London. She would call Jack from the train. She gave Fiona a hug goodbye and headed to the station, where she settled herself into a window seat and finally came face to face with her phone. It was nearly 7 p.m. Time to call. She leaned back into the seat, already feeling her cheeks warming and a sweat prickling on her neck and back. As she moved to open her contacts and start the call, her phone buzzed with an incoming call from Jack. "No," she groaned out loud, "no," but took a deep breath and answered the call. "Hi!" She tried to sound bright, but there was a false note to it. "Hey, Emma, how are you? I realised I didn't give you an address for the restaurant tonight." Emma hesitated. "Yeah, listen, Jack." "Uh-oh," he said, cutting her off. "This doesn't sound good. Are you okay?" She smiled at his perceptiveness. Yeah, I'm fine. Look, sorry, I should have called earlier, but can we postpone tonight? I've got a last-minute invite to a thing at the company I used to work at, and I'm actually on a train to London right now. I'm so sorry." She could hear Jack breathing and tried to picture him looking at Elliot and reshuffling his plans for a night in alone with the dog. "No problem," he said crisply. "That's fine. Actually, Rebecca wanted to see me tonight anyway, and I brushed her off as we had plans, but maybe I'll give her a text and see if she still needs to talk to me." Emma bristled. This felt like unnecessary information. Was he trying to make her jealous? It was working. "Yeah, okay, cool. Well, have fun with her. We can maybe do something later in the week," she said, matching his more distant tone. "Yeah, maybe," he said. She could feel a veil of formality over both of them. "Okay then. Well, have a nice evening. Bye." "Have fun at your work thing," he said, and she hung up her phone, mind spinning. The entire train to London she seethed and rattled around her brain, arguing. If you wanted him to see you tonight, then you should have been free to see him tonight, instead of racing off to London at the first sniff of Theo. I didn't know he was going to dangle his perfect ex-wife in my face if I cancelled. It shouldn't have mattered. God, all of this crap with Jack was so confusing. She felt wound up and angry and ordered several mini bottles of wine from the trolley on the train. The train was, of course, delayed, and by the time they pulled into London, she felt wilted and hot, and feeling more and more like she'd made a terrible mistake coming to the party. There was no time to go and put her bag at her hotel, so she just headed straight to the ball and hoped that nothing ridiculous had happened to make bag checks go out of fashion. The hotel was incredibly beautiful, lit gently and romantically, with a big sweeping entranceway and plush carpets inside. She felt very small. She dashed inside, trying not to attract any attention, and made straight for the bathrooms to put on her dress. She'd wanted to do it on the train, but the smell of the toilets had put her off. She did a wriggling act to get her hips down into the gown, and then twisted and wrenched to get the zip up and the labels on. A quick adjustment of hair and makeup, and she felt good to go.
Excuse me.
That's Tom having a little sneeze. You okay, Lily?
I'm surprised.
Yeah, I think we're all surprised.
Sorry.
It's nearly as bad as when I punched the laptop that time. Sarah says, "Bless you."
Thanks, Sarah.
So does Kim.
Thanks.
Georgina looks frightened. Claire says, "Bless you." Chris says, "Bless you." Ben says you need to isolate. Kevin says, "Bless you." Gronya's just laughing at you. Shane says, "Gesundheit." Latin Calling says, "Wow." Art World says, "I thought there was giraffes in this book, not elephants." Emin is also laughing at you. No, I should stop reading these out.
It's good to know so many people think that's terrible.
Everybody cares about you, babe. Right, she's got changed. She checked her bag at the door, took a small token and tucked it into her bra for want of anywhere else to keep it. She looked around the wood and the lights of the hotel and felt in a dream state, like she'd sleepwalked here and it had all gone so fast. Who on earth was she going to talk to? What was she doing here? What if no one remembered her? Too late now, she said to herself, and took a step into the crowded main room. Instantly, her eyes fell on Theo as she spotted him laughing and joking with a large crowd of the sales team. She felt her phone buzz in her bra and turned away from people to pull it out and look at the message. Rebecca was free, so don't worry about me being on my own tonight. I hope you have a great time and look forward to maybe catching up this week. Why had he sent her that? He was trying to make her jealous. She hadn't been thinking at all about Jack and how he was going to spend his evening, but she was now. This is why she preferred Theo. He didn't play games. He wasn't complicated. He didn't have baggage. He was just perfect. He was also heading over to her, she noticed, suddenly feeling rooted to the floor in a spotlight. She noticed with glee that as he strode across the floor towards her, Elaine's eyes followed him. You look amazing, he said, arriving at her side. She swallowed and felt some saliva go down the wrong pipe, burning as it settled. This place is fancy, she said, and then wished she were dead as she realised what a ridiculous yokel that made her sound. There you go. That's today's chapter. She's made it to the ball. Artworld says, do people really put their phones in their bra? Oh, I do. I store all sorts of stuff in my bra. Not that I wear one anymore. They're dead to me. But back in the days when outside was a place, yeah. Money, yeah. Okay. So your question for Wednesday's episode, which is quite fun, and I've already planned the outcomes, so I'm excited to see what you go for. Which song do Emma and Theo dance to? Okay. So your choices are Moves Like Jagger. I got the moves like Jagger. I got the moves like Jagger. Do they dance to Moves Like Jagger from, who's it by? Maroon 5. Stop laughing at my singing, please. Do they laugh at I'm Mr. Brightside? Do they laugh at Mr. Brightside by the Killers? What?
Dance.
Laugh at, did I say?
Yeah,
dance to. Do they dance to Mr. Brightside by the Killers? Do they dance to Someone You Love by Lewis Capaldi, which I won't try and sing. 1, because I can't hear it without crying. 2, I just can't sing it. How does it go, Tom?
What's that?
I used to be someone you love. No, can't sing it, but it's a great song. Or do they dance to Smooth by Santana? And if you, Rob Thomas featuring Santana or Santana featuring Rob Thomas? Anyway, either way. So which one of those 4 do they dance to? You're very welcome to have a listen to them before you decide which one they listen to. So it's Moves Like Jagger by Maroon 5, Mr. Brightside by the Killers, Someone You Love by Lewis Capaldi, and Smooth by Santana. Those are your 4 choices. Which one do they dance to? Durkus, you don't know that one. Which one? Smooth? It's a great track. It's brilliant. Kim doesn't know any of the songs. Well, you're going to have to give them a listen and see which one you like. So have a listen to those 4, decide which one you want them to dance to, and get voting. And I'll see you tomorrow. Lots of love, everyone. Keep safe, look out for each other, listen and learn, and be active. Lots of love. Bye.